Everyone, Difference Maker here. Now today, I'm going to be starting a brand new series on YouTube involving Dead by Daylight, which is fixing bad teachable perks. Now in Dead by Daylight, they have a lot of perks in the game, but the problem is none of them ever get used because they all suck or they're just very mediocre. Now not every perk in the game is garbage, but they're all plagued because of how bad they are. They have unnecessary conditions, long cooldowns, and they're just very bad in general. Because the last killer we've gotten that has great perks actually came out recently, which was the Blight. The Blight has a lot of great perks, but the past 3 killers we've gotten all had bad perks. So I'm starting the series to fix the teachable perks. So I'm going to start with the Trapper first, then work our way over to the other bad perks. So I'm going to start with Trapper, Wraith, and Hillbilly. I'm going to start with them first, then get to the killers that have very bad teachable perks. And I'll get to survivors, but I'm going to start with the killers first, then work our way to the bottom. So anyway, let's get started. Alright guys, so the first perk I'm talking about with this change is Agitation. Now, what this perk does is it increases your movement speed while transporting bodies by 6, 12, and 18%. But while you're carrying someone, it increases your terror radius by 12 meters. So overall, with Agitation, it's not a bad perk, it's actually pretty good. But if you compare it to all the other perks, like, it's good, but not good enough. And I've been thinking of suggestions of how to buff the perk, and I came up with a very good suggestion. So I'm going to post the picture right now. Okay guys, so the changes I made to Agitation are, I made it so that it increases your picking up speed, speed while transporting bodies, and hooking speed by 6, 12, and 18%. So basically what I did with the perk was I got rid of that useless status effect of increasing your terror radius by 12 meters, because when you're using the perk, do you really care if your terror radius is 12 meters bigger? I don't think so. So I got rid of that useless effect, and I added 2 new effects to Agitation to fit the theme of the perk, because the perk says you get excited when you're about to hook someone. So I added more things that do for hooking, like you pick people up faster and you hook people faster, along with going to the hook while carrying someone faster by 6, 12, and 18%. So that was my change to Agitation. Let's go to the next perk. Alright guys, so the next perk on my list is Brutal Strength. Now this perk is very easy to understand. Basically what it does is you destroy pallets, generators, and breakable walls 10, 15, and 20% faster. Now, once again, this perk, it's not bad, but it's mediocre, and it got outshined by the Hillbillies perk, Enduring. Now, I'll get to Hillbilly later, but talking about Brutal Strength, it's not bad, but it could be better. So I'm going to show you my proposed changes to Brutal Strength. Alright guys, so my proposed changes to Brutal Strength are this. Basically, I just increased the numbers and made it double. So now, Brutal Strength destroys pallets and generators and breakable walls 20, 25, and 30% faster. And I added a bonus that generators that were kicked with Brutal Strength will start to regress at 500% the normal regression. Now, don't get alarmed. Just because it says 500 doesn't automatically mean you kick the gen and it goes completely gone. I made it like Hex Ruin, so basically, when you kick the gen with Brutal Strength, it will start regressing 5% every 1 second. It's basically what it means. Like, don't get alarmed if it's like 500 or something. It's basically what it is. So basically, Brutal Strength was very simple to change in my opinion. All I needed to do was just buff the numbers and give it an additional effect. Because think about that. The generators are going to be regressing faster because you have a lot of strength. Terms Brutal Strength. So that's pretty much it with Brutal Strength. In my opinion, this buff would make the perk so much better. Now, let's get to the final perk. Alright guys, so the final perk the Trapper has is Unnerving Presence. And basically what this perk does is if survivors are within your terror radius, they have a 10% greater chance of triggering skill checks when repairing, healing, or sabotaging. Triggered skill check success zones are reduced by 40, 50, and 60%. Alright guys, I'm going to admit it. This perk fucking sucks, alright? This perk is awful. One of the worst perks ever designed. Now, it's not as bad as the other perks I'll get to, but Unnerving Presence is just bad. It's very outdated, it has a very niche effect, and it won't work against veteran players. Like, the skill check reduction sounds nice, but they have to be in your terror radius, and veterans can always hit the skill checks. Like, it doesn't even help you at all. It actually helps survivors more than you. But this perk was actually very hard to change in my opinion, because I had to try to balance it while not trying to make it overpowered. So here is my proposed change to Unnerving Presence. Now, I'm just going to warn you, every change to Terror Radius perks will be the same from here. So let's go over the change. Alright guys, so my final change to Unnerving Presence is this. Basically, I increased the numbers of triggering skill checks from 10% to 25%, so the skill checks would trigger more often. And I didn't really need to change the success zones of the perk, because that part of the perk can pretty much stay the same. The only part of the perk that needed to be changed was this. This is going to be important for all other Terror Radius perks. Basically, I made it so that if survivors exit your Terror Radius, they get the effect of the perk for an extra 5 seconds. So think of it as Leader and Vigil, but for the killers. So that pretty much covers my buff to Unnerving Presence, and that pretty much covers up all the buffs I have to Trapper's perks. So overall, the Trapper's perks aren't bad, but they're very mediocre. He has the most mediocre perks. Now, I'm not being hard on him because he was the very first killer after all, and Dead by Daylight has changed over the years. So for this series, I'm going to be doing something called the ranking system, and I'm going to be ranking each killer in a certain spot based on their teachable perks. So the Trapper, you will be going in C rank. So that's it for him. So the next video coming out will be the Wraith. I will be talking about the Wraith's teachable perks, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and comment, hit the subscribe button, and hit the silver bell for notifications on my newest video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.